Okay, team. So let's move ahead to the next part of our journey. We had seen what is LLM and what is Llama. We installed Ollama, we installed Llama, and then we used it in our command prompt. And later we also used it in our Python programming language. We had seen how can we write a Python script called Ollama API, as well as we had seen how can we create a reusable function. All right. Now, in this particular part, we will discuss how to create a user interface using Streamlit. Okay, and with the help of user interface, we'll try to create a basic chat app. Now, this will be your project that you can add into your profile or portfolio as well if you want to use it. So in this journey, what we do first, we'll try to see, we'll check how can we install Streamlit. Streamlit is what? It is kind of a Python package which is used to create a user interface with which user can interact, a kind of a web app that we can create. Next thing that we do, what? We'll connect our app. Okay, we'll just create and we'll connect our app to Llama. Okay, so to connect our app to the Llama, what we do, we'll make use of Ollama API, right? Using Ollama API. Using this, we'll connect our app to the Llama. Next, we'll do what? Next step is we will chat with our AI assistant, right? Our AI assistant that we create, we just chat with our AI assistant in a browser window, right? In a browser window. So these things we are going to cover over here. So let's start with this journey. My name is Vipul, okay, and I will try to make you understand this particular concept in very basic and easy form as we had covered the last things. All right. So let's start with the first part, that is installing Streamlit. All right. So to install Streamlit, which will be used for creating the EY, we can use pip install Streamlit. I already created a detailed tutorial video on Streamlit. Okay, so please explore the playlist in which I explain the complete use of Streamlit. Here I'll give you the high level understanding. This is just a package which is used to create a user interface for our application with which user can interact. So this will install it. In my case, might have already installed. So that's why it will say requirement already satisfied. All right. And then once it is done, we can test it. I'll show you how can we test it. Let it be done. It will hardly take few more seconds. And then we'll just use over Streamlit. Hello. Okay. So this will confirm that Streamlit is installed in my system. Okay. How is it confirmed? If you see, we'll get the we will get this kind of interface in our browser. Like if you're getting this kind of interface into your browser after running Streamlit, hello, that means it is now installed. Next step is what? We have to create our app. Okay. So for creating our app, we will use VS Code, right? So I'll move to VS Code like this. And here we want to create our app. So for creating our app, I'll just select a folder. Okay. You can choose any folder in your system like this. Okay, by clicking on open folder. Okay, and then you can just select a folder in your system, or you can also create a new folder. Okay, it's up to you, right? So let's say I'll create a folder called llama app. Okay, so I created a folder called llama app over here. Okay, and this is being created in my D drive. So you can create any folder in any one of the location and can choose it. You need to do what? Just go to file and then open folder, right? When you click on file and open folder, you will get an option of creating a folder. You can create any folder in your system, and then you will have a project folder. So this will be a project folder. Project folder means what? In this folder, we will have the projects file. All right. Now we'll create in this folder a Python file. So here, new file, and we can give it a name. What name shall we give it? Let's say I'll give it a name Chat Llama LLAMA app. Okay, so now this is a app that we're going to create. So how do we create? Simple. We can just import Streamlit as st. Okay, thereafter we will import requests. Okay, thereafter we will import JSON just like we did it last time. Same thing. Okay, so why request is used? I hope you know this is used to request the API. Which API? The Ollama API. Okay, like Ollama used to run on a local host, so that API we can call using this thing. Thereafter, we have to create a user interface, right? So first, you over here, I'll create st dot set page config. Using this, we can set the title of our page. So page underscore title is equals to, let's say, I'll give it a name, chat with llama. Okay, and layout I can just give over here center. That means I want to put everything in the center. So centered. Okay, this is your page configuration, and then st dot title, the application title. Okay, so let's say I'll give it a name, chat with llama 2. Okay, and I can give something like offline AI app. So that means if you have this app, you don't require ChatGPT. Okay, you don't require internet. Okay, you can use this app just like ChatGPT. Okay, but without internet. All right, so you can save this thing, and thereafter you can go to the location where you created it. So in the D drive, in the LLaMA app folder, we have this application, right? So I'll show you. This is a D drive. In the D drive, in the LLaMA app, I have this thing. So I will launch a command prompt over here. Okay. And thereafter, in this command prompt, what we do, I'll show you. So in this command prompt, I have to run. So for executing it, what we will do over here, we'll just use Streamlit. Or first, let me have all the entity in this folder. I have ChatLlama app.py. Okay, so what we do, we'll run over here is Streamlit run. Okay, this particular thing, right? So when I execute it, you will get a IP address, and when you use that IP address in your web browser, you will get it, right? So in the center, we have a header chat with llama 2 offline AI app, and at the top, this is what we have, chat with llama. The with the spelling is incorrect, that we can correct. So now we'll get back to our coding interface once again, right? Here I can correct it. Anyway, now next what we need a field where user can put their prompt, right? So here text input or user input. Okay, so I want user prompt, right? So user underscore prompt is equals to, let's say, st dot text underscore input. So here user can feed the input. So for that, I need to ask the user that what prompt, like there'll be field where user can feed the things, right? So that means a kind of information that it will be given, so that user should know that what user, that okay, here user needs to put the information, and then we can define the placeholder, and I'll say type your message here. Okay, so that is it, right? So I'll save this guy, and after saving it, we'll go and again we'll try to refresh our web app, right? So let's refresh this web app. So here it's saying type a message here. So now this is our interface created. So let's say I'll ask it, what is Python programming language? Okay, so right now it will not give me any answer because we have to connect it with our Ollama API, right? So what we do next I'll write the logic that we did earlier, right? So here I have to create a function, okay, function to get response from llama. Okay, that is a function we required. And second, we will use over here of kind of we have to generate and display the response. Okay, these two things we have to do step by step. Okay, so how can we use it? So let's say if I want to generate the output from llama, what we required a function, the function that we created in last tutorial, similar function, ask llama. Okay, so if I want to ask llama what we required prompt. Okay, that user will ask. So user prompt will be given. Thereafter model. So by default, I am choosing the model over here as llama 2. Okay, in case if I have to change it, I can change it. Okay, then I have to define host. Okay, so what is a host we have? It is HTTP. Okay, you can just confirm the host from here. Okay, this is your host I have to use, right? So just copy this thing. Okay, and then get back to your code right here. Okay, and paste it over here. Okay, so this is going to be our host. Okay, in case if anyone is having different host, it can be changed, right? Pass. So here I have to write the whole logic, right? And then how can we generate? See, when user will enter the prompt. So if user input is existing, okay, then only it should execute, right? If user input is existing, then first with st.spinner. Okay, that means it will create a spinner which will showcase a kind of a process that is going on. Okay, thinking, right? With st.spinner, because when user gives the prompt, okay, output don't get generated all of a sudden. Okay, it takes time. So whatever the time that it is taking to generate the output, a spinner will rotate. So llama underscore response is equals to, I have to trigger this guy. Okay, and when we trigger this guy, what will be the argument for it? This will be argument for it. All right, so this function will be a return type function. So once we get the output, we have to showcase it. To show it, we'll use markdown function. Okay, markdown what? The here we'll just write over here a message double asterisk LLaMA. So it will show bold later llama and then st.success. Okay, here whatever the output that we got, that we will show. Okay, that is it. All right, so now this will I save. Okay, and I'll check how is it behaving. Obviously it will not do anything right now because main logic we have not added, but anyway let me check how is it working. Right, so here I'll enter create a Python program to find prime numbers between 1 to 100. Okay, so when I give it, so it is saying none. And why it is saying none? Because as of now we have not connected it to the LLM model. So next we'll try to connect it to the LLM model and we'll check how it will behave. Right, so for connecting with the LLM model, first we'll, as we had used earlier, we'll use try and accept. So try accept accept exception as e print e. So here we are going to try the thing. So what we'll try first, we'll try over here the response will store is equals to requests, the request library that we already have, right? Request dot post to generate the post request. So when we generate the post request, what we actually do over here, we had seen if I want to generate the post request, we need to feed two things. If you compare with the previous program, okay, it is like host and JSON. All right, so I can copy this thing as it is. Okay, and then I will use it in our current program. All right, so we need this thing. That means I have to post what I need to post. I need to post over here, generate a post request on this host. Okay, what is host? That we already defined here. Okay, so this thing should be given correctly. Okay, now it's fine. So we are generating a post equal to this particular API/API/generate. So we'll call this particular URL class API slash generate, and then we'll define JSON, like we'll define the model and prompt in the JSON form. And then when we call it, this whole thing will be called as a post request. That means this information we are passing to this guy, right? So it will generate a response, and that response we are storing over here in the response, right? So now we will also check one thing over here. If the response code, right, is not 200, that means if suppose Ollama server is not running, okay, so if Ollama server is not running or because of any reason, okay, it is not getting the status code 200, okay, status code double equals to, sorry, not equals to 200, then what it needs to do, it needs to return, okay, what it needs to return, error, okay, what error, the status code, it needs to return the status code, and that status code I can just show it over here, response.status code. This guy will return the status code that will show you over here. Next, what we do, we'll just iterate for each line in the response, okay, because we had seen earlier that response used to have multi-lines JSON data, okay. This is how we get the response, right? If we get the response like this, in which each line is having one word, so what we need to iterate, we need to just check each line, then only we can create the complete output, right? So for that we'll do what, for line in response that we have over here dot iter lines, that means we are iterating through each line, right? If we'll check if line exists, okay, so that when it will reach the last line, automatically process will terminate, okay. If there is a line, then try something, okay, and also handle the exception gracefully. So we'll see try and accept exception as e print e. So it will handle the exception gracefully over here, right? So what we need data, right? So data is equals to JSON dot loads, okay. What I have to load, I have to load this line, okay. So from this line it will just load the JSON data dot decode, we can just decode it using UTF-8 algorithm. All right, so now here JSON data fetched, right? And thereafter in this JSON data, where is our actual information exist? I told you in this JSON data, the actual response is having a key response, okay, for each word. Like suppose this is your word, like suppose I asked about a machine learning, what is machine learning? So for machine, response is the key. Next line is machine learning, response is key. So for each word generated, what is key? Response is the key. As response is the key, so we'll write a logic over here. If, okay, response, if any line response is existing in data, okay, if response is there, in that case what it needs to do, it needs to capture the that particular key, okay. So it will capture the key, and where it should store, it can store into a variable which is called full response, RESPONSE. This is your full response, which is having no value initially, okay. This is blank, and later on this will get, you know, whatever the information we are generating over here, that will get added to this full response, and at the end full response will be returned, isn't it? So let's do that part. All right, so here full response, okay, plus equals to, okay, so whatever the response we are generating, we are adding to the full response, okay. And then after we have exception and everything is given, and then when loop ends, that means when there is no further line, so I will say this guy to return your full response, okay. And in case if there is any space, leading a space, lagging a space, anything, so that I can remove with the help of a strip. So it will remove any kind of a space, okay. And then everything is done. I hope this is the code that will work perfectly. I'll save this guy, Okay, and I'll get back to my uh, user interface, right? And I'll refresh it, right? And thereafter, our own kind of a chatbot or chat application is ready, which is powered by LLaMA. So what we do, I'll ask it, uh, what should a data scientist, or you can say, how to get started as a data scientist, CIE. How to get started as a data scientist. Okay, so let's see what happened. Okay, so I'm getting a status code over here 404, right? That means there is something which is not working well, right? So what we do, I'll open up my command prompt, okay, and I'll just use it over here, Ollama serve, okay, just to check if things are working or not. So it is saying that this guy is working, and I will again get back to my this particular interface and I'll refresh it. So as I refresh it, this is also saying it is working. So now I'll get back to my code and we'll check if anything incorrect I had given. So here it's like 127, this is fine. And then API/generate is also good. Okay, so we had accessed over LLaMA. So here if you see I did a mistake. Okay, here it's not equals to, it's just LLaMA 2, right? So again I'll save it and again I'll get back to this interface. Again I'll check it, refresh it, right? So how to become a data scientist, SCIENTIST, right? So let's say what it is doing now. It is thinking the spinner is active, right? It is connecting with the LLaMA LLM model, right? And Ollama make it possible to connect this guy with the LLaMA LLM model, and thereafter the output will be generated, and in few seconds we'll get the output over here. So just wait for a few seconds and you'll see the output. So it has generated the output over here that you can see, right? Now, I'll ask few more things over here. Let's say how to become a Python developer. All right. So I'll ask this question and then again, let's see what it is replying. So it just given the step-by-step description, like how can you become a data scientist, right? So how to become a Python developer, if I ask, again, it will take some time to generate the output. And then once it will generate the output, we'll check like what output it has generated. All right. All right, so it had given the step-by-step process to become a Python developer. Now I'll make some changes. If you see, it is not showing me the chat history. Like what I asked earlier, it is not showing me. As well as I want it to be little faster, right? So we'll try to use Llama 3, as well as we'll try to make this thing works with a chat history, right? It should also, I want that it should show the chat history. So let's get back to our coding environment, and here we'll make some modifications so that we can have the chat history over here, right? So for the chat history, there are a few things that we have to add here. Let's say we'll initialize the chat history just after the before the user prompt. Okay, let's say I will initialize over here the chat history. So initialize initialize chat history, isn't it? So that user can check like what they had asked earlier. So here, I'll say if, let's give in history, not in st, that is streamlit dot session dot state or session state. Okay, then st session state, that is streamlit dot session state. Okay, and here I can define history is equals to a blank list. That means here we have just defined a kind of a history keyword with the session state, and this is containing no value right now. All right, now all we need to do, we need to write a logic so that this guy can get the chat history, and thereafter we want to show this thing as a output, right? So for that purpose, let's say when user is giving the prompt, okay, then this thing actually happened. Okay, now when we are showing this output, okay, here we are showing the output as st.success. Okay, so this is the point where we'll make the modification. What we do over here, we'll just get and display. Okay, let's try to do it. Get and display llama's response. Here we want to show the llama's response. Okay, and here in the markdown spinner we had already added. In the markdown, let's add over here st.markdown. I can just use over here user prompt, right? Okay, so that instead of llama, it can show me user prompt, right? Like for example, here it is showing what? Let me show you once. See, when I'm asking any question, right, or any prompt I had given, it is showing llama. So here it should show me the user question, and here it can like user prompt, and here it can be the result. Okay, so that it can be revisited. So markdown user prompt, so it will show the user prompt first, and next it will do what? It will just show me the display the llama response. So for showing up the llama response, here I'll write a logic with st.chat message. Okay, assistant. Okay, so with chat message assistant, we want to showcase the llama response. All right, so whatever the message that is generated by the assistant, okay, assistant is what? Here it's a system, right? There is a spinner required, okay, because all of a sudden message don't get displayed, there is a spinner, right? So with st.spinner, from here I can pick it from here with st.spinner, right? So now if I'm using st.spinner over here, in that case it is not required here. Okay, so I can remove it from here, right? And if I'm not using it here, also I can use with st.chat message user, right? So user, this will recognize the user prompt, right? So this will recognize the user prompt and show you user prompt first. This will recognize the assistant response, and thereafter there will be a spinner that will start running. Then we will have llama response is equals to ask llama, all right, what user prompt, right? So ask llama is what? Is my function over here, right? So this function, the prompt will go, and then the response will come to llama response. Okay, that function will return it, right? Thereafter st.markdown that llama response. All right, this is what will happen. And thereafter I have to save this thing as a chat history as well, because I also want to showcase the chat history. So save to history. All right, so how can I save to history? We'll just call over st.session state. Okay, session state, right? And here with the history keyword, I want to save it dot append. Okay, what I want to append, I want to append over here a few things like in a dictionary form. Okay, like user, that means what user had asked, that we will just save it over here. So that is user prompt. Okay, so this is your user prompt that user had asked. And second thing we required what? Llama response. So llama, and this is our response. Where is our response? Llama response. This is our response here. So this will create our session state history, right? Now we have the session state history. And we also need to display the session state history. Okay, so if I want to display the session state history, we can just write a logic over here, display chat history. Okay, so for displaying the chat history, we'll do what? For chat in Streamlit dot session state, okay, history. Okay, like this. What do you do with st.chat message, that is Streamlit.chat message? Okay, how it is recognized as a user? It is user. Okay, like user input will be recognized by key user. All right, so that is what we'll get it from here. Chat message, and thereafter st.markdown. Okay, and what I need to show over here, from the chat I want to show the key user. All right, and thereafter we'll say with st.chat message, I'll just copy this thing from here, and thereafter I'll paste it over here with st.message assistant, that is a assistant response. Okay, st.markdown, how the user response we are saving in the history with this key, that is LLaMA. Okay, so this is the user response that we are saving in the key. So it will show the chat history. I hope this is good to go, but still let me check if anything is missing over here. I guess this guy is working good and this is fine. So, okay, fine. One more thing, let's say when you are using it, okay, if I want to use some other LLaMA model, isn't it? Because LLaMA 2 may be slow, right? So for that, I can check what other LLaMA model that I have. If you see, I have over here Ollama list. So I have few LLaMA models like LLaMA 2, LLaMA 3 is also there. Whichever LLaMA model I want to run. Okay, let's say I want to run this LLaMA 3.18b. So what I do, Ollama run. Okay, and we'll just use this particular LLaMA model. Okay, that is there in my system. So this LLaMA model will start. So this 3.18b is a little bit faster compared to LLaMA 2, right? So I can use it because this will the response of this guy will be much faster, right? So instead of using LLaMA 2, let's try to use this guy this time. Okay, let's check how is it behaving. So I'll copy this thing. I'll get back to my coding environment. Okay, and thereafter I'll paste it over here. Where should I paste? Here. You can also paste it when you are calling the function. It's totally up to you. And here I'll say chat with LLaMA 3. I'll save it, right? And now let's check what happened. Are we capable of showing the chat history or not? So let's refresh it. Okay. So I'll ask it, who are you? Who are you? Okay. So when I asked it, so now it is saying over here, this is what you can see, there is icon appearing over here. This is user icon. And here the icon that you can see is a assistant icon. So now it is just trying to generate the response. It will take few seconds to generate the response. And thereafter, I'll ask the next thing. So I'm a large language model. When you ask a question or provide me a prompt, I analyze what you ask and something, right? So now I'll ask it, do you know who is ChatGPT? So now it just gets an error, method object or something. So why are we getting this error? That means there must be a programming error here with the chat message user. If you see, it is showing error in line number 44. So let's check the line number 44 over here. So here is my line number 44. That means we are doing something wrong over here with st.chat message. Okay, so for chat in st.session state history is fine. And thereafter we are using with st. Okay, fine. This is a function actually. We did a mistake over here. This should not be a square bracket, right? Sorry. This is a function. Chat message is what? It's a function. And I had given the square bracket over here. So obviously this will not work as we are expecting. Okay, you can see chat message is a function. Now again, I'll save it. I'll get back over here and again I'll refresh this guy. and we'll check what happened. Okay, so I'll ask it, who are you? Okay, so this time it is expected to work faster compared to ChatGPT, compared to Llama 2, right? So now it is saying I'm an artificial intelligence model known as Llama. Llama stands for large language model, Meta AI, right? So now I'll ask it, do you know about Chat GPT? Okay, so you can see the history is appearing. Okay, it's not like that history get disappeared. Okay, what you asked first, that is also showing, and what you are asking now, that is also showing, and the response will also be shown over here, right? So it is almost behaving like a Chat GPT, right? Like, but the benefit is it will work offline. Okay, even you don't have an internet, you can't use Chat GPT, but if you don't have an internet, you can use Llama. ChatGPT is paid after some extent. This is always free. You need not to pay any amount for any length of data. Okay, that whatever the length of token you are just passing over here or you are generating, you need not to pay anything. This is completely free and it can also work offline, right? So these are the benefits of using Llama. So let's see what output it is generating, and then we'll go ahead. So if you see, it has generated the output over here, and we are also having the chat history, right? It is just telling me what is Chat GPT, and it's a good sort of conversation that is being built up. You can ask few more questions, few more prompt you can give, and it is like your personal GPT, personal chat app, right? Which is having almost the similar functionality like Chat GPT, but it can work offline. All right, so this is it for this particular journey, right? Next we'll just try to move ahead and we'll try to create some more useful applications, right? Like for example, the next thing that I'm planning for you is like we already created the UI and all. So next I'll just trying to explain you the prompt engineering part, and we'll also try to explore Llama using Hugging Face, right? So keep learning, stay tuned. Okay, just join with me for the next learning journey. Take care. Have a happy learning for all of you. Thank you, everyone.